Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the incredibly inspiring story of Poonch Medical College, or PMC for short. Nestled way up in the breathtaking, high-altitude hills of Char Diwan in suburban Rawalakot, Azad Jammu Kashmir, it isn't just a story about a medical school. It's actually a masterclass in how targeted public policy, serious educational rigor, and civil-military cooperation can completely transform an entire region.
I mean, just think about the sheer logistics for a second. How do you build a top-tier medical hub in a remote, freezing mountain valley? Because before this institution existed, the rugged terrain and physical isolation of the sub-Himalayan hills of Azad Kashmir meant that just getting access to modern medicine was a huge and honestly sometimes dangerous challenge. Bringing advanced healthcare and hundreds of medical students to this specific, challenging geography required a really bold vision.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Over the next few minutes, we'll hit 5 key areas: healing the mountain valley, PMC's rapid educational rise, their unique civil-military training, life as a student up in the mountains, and finally, how they are transforming regional healthcare.
So, part 1, healing the mountain valley and addressing the rural healthcare crisis.
To really understand this story, you kind of have to put yourself in the Poonch division prior to 2012. It is stunning mountainous terrain, for sure. But that same geography created severe physical isolation and a really dangerous shortage of doctors. So the response came in 2012. The government of Azad Jammu Kashmir established PMC as a strategic, state-funded solution. They essentially looked at a map and realized, the only way to reliably get doctors into this rugged interior is to just build a medical college right in the middle of it. They kick things off with a foundational faculty of just 11 professors and 18 assistant professors, alongside a pioneer class of 62 students.
Part 2, a rapid educational rise, from temporary halls to top ranks.
What happened next is basically this incredible underdog narrative, and it moved at breakneck speed. PMC is founded in 2012. By April 2013, classes begin, but not in some grand, sprawling campus. They started in a modified facility belonging to a state-run polytechnic institute. Yet, operating out of that temporary setup, PMC actually secured the #1 position in academic merit among all public sector affiliates of the University of Health Sciences, Lahore, by 2017. They literally beat out older, heavily established provincial schools. Wow. By 2018, that first batch of doctors graduated, and the momentum hasn't stopped, with their nursing college formally established in 2025.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that number, 19. That's the impressive number of fully active academic and clinical departments PMC built up in that short window of time. So we're not talking about a small rural clinic here. It's a comprehensive, multi-tiered academic machine. And those 19 departments, they cover massive ground. You've got the basic medical sciences for the first 2 years. Think anatomy with dedicated cadaver dissection halls, and pharmacology with its own animal house. Then, for years 3 to 5, you move into clinical sciences, covering the whole shebang from general surgery to psychiatry. But crucially, they have a massive footprint in community research. For instance, they published a highly cited study on breast self-examination practices among female medical students in the Journal of the Pakistan Medical Association. They aren't just studying in a bubble, they are actively researching the real public health challenges right outside their doors.
Moving on to Part 3, civil-military medical training. This is a unique tactical advantage.
Now, this is where things get really fascinating, because this symbiotic setup gives PMC students an unbelievable edge. While PMC is an administratively civilian college, its primary teaching hub, SKBZ Hospital, is actually structurally integrated with the Combined Military Hospital, or CMH, in Rawalakot. Think about what that means. Civilian medical students are training shoulder to shoulder with military doctors. In a high-altitude region that's vulnerable to seismic activity and intense winter emergencies, this guarantees the students get hands-on, high-volume exposure to trauma care and disaster readiness. That is invaluable experience.
And to keep this massive civil-military operation running smoothly, they rely on a highly standardized framework. Being a state-run entity, the entire leadership hierarchy uses the Civilian Basic Pay Scale, or BPS. The principal and senior professors sit at the top, at the BPS 20 to 21 level. That cascades down through associate and assistant professors, all the way to the medical officers and demonstrators running the labs at BPS 17. It's a very rigid, stable, and highly organized way to run things.
Part 4, life as a PMC student, rigor and culture in the mountains.
So you might be wondering, what is it actually like to live and train in this highly competitive, high-altitude environment? Well, just getting your foot in the door is a massive hurdle. It's a grueling pipeline, starting with a centralized MD-CAT exam and FSC scores. Then a joint admissions committee standardizes the central merit list. Because of PMC's prestige, it draws the absolute brightest minds from all over Azad Kashmir, plus specific quotas from Gilgit-Baltistan, Pakistan's 4 main provinces, and even international expat seats. It makes for an incredibly diverse student body. Once you're actually in, day-to-day life is this really unique blend of strict discipline and rich culture. First off, formal attire and white lab coats with the college's blue crest are totally mandatory. And living in Rawalakot means managing freezing winters, so thank goodness the hostels have localized water heating and a robust centralized messing system for hot, hygienic meals. But hey, it's not all just hitting the books. Once a year, they literally halt all lectures for a massive sports and literary week. We're talking cricket matches, debates, and incredible Urdu poetry slams known as mushairas. Plus, student societies like SINCH and MSAP are out there running vital blood drives in the valley.
Finally, Part 5, Transforming Regional Healthcare in the Post-2012 Reality.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why PMC was built in the first place. It fundamentally rewrote public health for the area. The contrast is just staggering. Before 2012, families facing a medical crisis had to travel for hours down winding, dangerous mountain roads to reach Islamabad or Rawalpindi just for basic tertiary care. Today, the post-2012 reality is that hundreds of locally trained doctors and specialists are right there, serving the valley directly. It is a total game changer. And we have to emphasize the sheer scale of that local service. 700. That's the number of active patient beds PMC now commands across their network, including SKBZ Hospital, DHQ Bach, and THQ Hajira. It acts as a massive safety net for the entire region. And get this, they are not even close to stopping. The state has fast-tracked a huge development project, and a brand new, permanent campus is currently under construction at Chakdamni. This is going to feature its own dedicated 200-bed advanced clinical research hospital. So the future of healthcare up there is only expanding. Which brings us perfectly to the college's official motto, Minds the Care and Cure. It is just a beautiful thematic bridge, right? It perfectly connects the intense, top-tier academic rigor of the institution with the literal, life-saving community impact they deliver in the mountains every single day. So I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. Look at the immense success PMC achieved in such an isolated, rugged environment. How could other remote or mountainous regions globally replicate this specific civil-military educational model to solve their own rural healthcare crises? It is a truly fascinating blueprint for public health. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep asking those big questions.